Hello and welcome. In this video we'll find out how to create the geometry for this slot and then machine the angled face and slot using a 4-axis machine. I'm going to use the View Manager to set up the new construction planes and tooling planes. Let's verify this finished part and check out the operations. Now first up, I'm using a face mill to machine that angle, and then following the face mill operation I'm going to machine the slot out. And there's our completed part. I'm going to click OK. Now what I'm going to do now is open up another part that contains the partial geometry for this part. What I'm going to do is recreate the geometry for the slot. I'm going to face mill the 30-degree angle and then finally machine out the slot. Now over on the left I'm going to just click the plus sign to the left of properties, going to move into files, and I've got this part set up for a generic Haas 4-axis mill. Let's go and check out the stock setup. Now the material's 6 by 3 by 3 inches, and I'm just going to turn off the display of stock. I'm going to pick OK. Now first up, what I'm going to do is move down to the bottom of the screen, and on the status bar I'm going to click on WCS and then move into the View Manager. Now the View Manager is a central point for selecting, editing, creating and managing views. Now some of the tasks you can perform here are selecting which view to use for the construction plane, tool plane or the work coordinate system. You can edit the origin of a view. You can assign work offset to a view so that whenever you select the view for a toolpath, the work offset code is automatically created. Create new views relative to existing view or by copying existing views. Now this large window in the center of the View Manager lists all the views that have been defined in the current file. Now in the lower right screen I'm going to click on Help, and here we are in Mastercam Help at the View Manager page. So if you need any more detailed information on View Manager, this is a great place to go. I'm just going to exit Help. Now what I'm going to do now is to start up and set up a new construction plane and tooling plane to enable the construction and machining of this slot. Now over on the left of the screen what I'm going to do is click on Geometry, and here we are back at the graphics screen, and what I'm going to do is select this line and then this other line here, this second line laying at 30 degrees, and now I've got a preview of where my axis is going to be located and the direction. Now I'm going to click on this Next View button. As you can see, look, the Z is pointing out this way. I'm just going to go back to my original view. This is the one I'm after. I'm going to pick OK. I'm just going to change the name. I'm going to call it View 30 degrees and then pick OK. Now at the very bottom of the View Manager I'm going to click in the comment section and just create a little note for myself. 30-degree face. Now we've not completely finished all our operations here, but what I'm going to do is click on OK. On my keyboard I'm going to click Alt F9. Now over on the top left of the screen here, this axis tripod denotes the direction of the construction plane, and if we just slide over to the right it denotes the direction of the tooling plane. And if we move our eyeballs down to the bottom of the screen here, we've got work coordinate system is top, and it's got tool construction plane is top as well. Not exactly what we need, so we've got to go back into the View Manager and let's set up a few things. Now if you look at the list at the very top here, we've got the construction and tool plane activated for top. What I'm going to do is select the view that we just created, and then just slide over to the right, and I'm going to click on this icon, and it says set your current tool plane and origin to the selected view. So as you can see now, we've activated the tool plane for this view. Now if I just slide over to the right again, set your current construction plane and origin to the selected view, I'm going to click on this icon. There we go. So view 30 degrees we've got set up as our construction and tooling plane. Now I use the icons over on the right. You can just click here and here to set them up. I'm just going to click back down. We're looking good. Now we're done here. I'm going to click OK. As you can see, the grid is centered over that intersection of those two lines we picked earlier on, and the axis is, I shouldn't say the axis, the grid is rotated at 30 degrees. So everything looks good here. Let's go and create some geometry. Now we're going to create the geometry for this slot. First thing that I'm going to do is create a couple of circles. I'm going to click on the icon for create circle center point. First thing I'm going to do is set up the radius. That's 0.25. I'm going to lock this value in. Just going to click on the radius icon and it's turned red, locked in. Now for the center point, I'm going to click on the fast point icon, and for the X value I'm going to type in 1.5 comma, and for the Y 0.875, and then hit enter. There's our first circle, looks good. Just going to slide over to the right, click on apply. Next circle, once again going to click fast point. For the X value 1.5, and then this time for the Y I'm going to input 3. Looks good. Over on the right of the ribbon bar, we're done here. I'm going to click on OK. Next up, got a couple of lines to put in. So I'm going to click on create line endpoint. I'm going to pick here, 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 here. Looks good. We're done. Next up, got a bit of trimming to do. So I'm going to select the icon, trim, break, extend. I'm going to activate divide. And then back on the graphics screen, I'm going to pick this circle at this position. Just slide on down. And I'm going to pick this circle here. We're all trimmed. I'm going to pick OK. Now, next up, we're going to create the face toolpath to machine this 30-degree angle. So let's move into toolpaths, and I'm going to select face toolpath. I'm going to accept this name. I'm going to pick OK. Now on the left of the screen is the chaining dialog box. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is activate C-plane. Now this is only going to chain entities that are parallel to the current construction plane and at the same Z depth as the first entity you chain. So back on the graphics screen, what I'm going to do is pick this line, and it successfully chained that area. Looks good. I'm going to pick OK. Now I'm going to use this 2-inch face mill. I'm not going to change any of the feeds and speeds, just going to leave them as is. Going to go over to the next page, facing parameters. I'm going to activate clearance. I'm going to check use clearance only at the start and end. My retract is turned on, 0.25 in absolute. Feed plane, going to leave that at incremental. Top of stock, I'm going to change that to 2 inches. Depth, I'm going to leave as is. Now I'm going to activate depth of cuts. I'm going to click on the depth of cuts button. Now the rough step, I'm going to change that to 0.375, and for the number of finished cuts, just 1. Finish step, I'll make that 50 thou. And one last thing before we leave, I'm going to check mark, keep tool down, and pick OK. I'm going to pick OK here. Now I'm going to click Alt-T on my keyboard just to turn the display of toolpaths off. Let's go and verify what we've done. I'm going to click on verify. I'm going to click play. And there's our facing operation. Looks good. Going to pick OK. What we're going to do now is create the pocket toolpath to machine out this slot. Going to move into Toolpaths, Pocket Toolpath. Now once again on the left hand side in the chaining dialog box, I'm going to activate the C-plane and then move over to the graphic screen. I'm going to pick this line and it successfully chained those slot entities. I'm done here, going to pick OK. I'm going to be using this 3/8 end mill. I'm not going to change any of the feeds and speeds on this page here. Going to move over to pocket parameters. For the depth, I'm going to make that minus 0.125. Going to turn on the clearance. Going to leave everything else as is. Just going to move over to the third tab, roughing and finishing parameters. I'm going to turn the finish off, and for a cutting method I'm going to select parallel spiral. Going to pick OK. Now let's verify and have a look at both of these operations. I'm going to click select all operations, click on verify, and let's hit the play button. So once again there's our facing operation. Looks good. Next up we're going to machine out that slot with that 3/8 end mill. Looks good. Looks wonderful. Now let's pick OK. Let's go and create some code and check out what the code looks like. So both operations are selected. Going to click on post selected operations. Going to click on OK. I'm going to accept this name. Now I've already got a file called that. I'm just going to overwrite it. I'm just going to say yes. Do you want to replace it? Yes, please. Now let's check out the code and see what it looks like. Now here's our code. Now let's have a look at block 30. Now as you can see, A30, it's rotated the A axis 30 degrees. That's when we start to perform that facing operation. Let's slide on down. Let's have a look at the next tool change. At 3/8 end mill. Here it comes. So the A axis goes back to 0. We do a tool change, and then once again, just before we start machining the slot, the A is rotating to 30 degrees. Let's close this up. Now that completes this video. Thanks a lot for watching.